Video 2.4, Try it yourself, using the JavaScript Debugger. In this Try it yourself exercise, we'll use the Firebug add-on one more time to isolate and fix JavaScript code and logic problems in a web page. You can view the starter file by going into the book's code listings archive. The folder is hour2, of course. The file name is hour0204.html. The code in listing 2.4 in the book, which you need to copy into hour0204.html in your project in Aptana, is a basic web page that contains a button and a count string. The HTML itself has two div elements. The first one, ID clicker, with an on-click of countit, is used for a simple button. When you click that button, the JavaScript function countit is called. The second, with the div ID of counter, is used to display a number. The way the JavaScript is supposed to work is that the number increases by 1 each time the button's clicked. A problem in the code, however, prevents the number from increasing past 2, and we're going to use Firebug to troubleshoot this. Let's launch the page in Firefox and expose Firebug. Let's go to the script page in Firebug and reload to enable scripts. Make sure that we're not looking at the jQuery library, but instead the actual HTML page. And we'll set a breakpoint on line 8, where we define a variable called CNT and initialize it at 1, which you can see up here on the main page. On the right-hand side in Firebug, we'll have the watch pane exposed. Let's click the button on the web page. The code executes to line 8 and stops, and we can see that count is initializing as undefined in the watch area. We'll then come over to step over, and we'll see the count go to 1. We'll step over again and see that the count has gone up to 2. Let's go to step out to move forward in the code. Click it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That steps out of that initial function as well as the jQuery functions. Let's come over to continue and let the page continue loading. But watch what happens when we click the button. The debugger activates again, it stops at our breakpoint, and the value of CNT is undefined again. So we've got a problem here with the initialization. To fix the problem, let's come back to Aptana, and we're going to actually swap lines 7 and 8 such that we define the variable. I'm going to select and do a Control X before we define our function, like so. We'll save the file, Control S, and then let's come back and reload the page. Because our breakpoint was set on line 8, we're stopping at the wrong location. Instead of examining the initialization of the CNT variable, line 8 now maps to the incount function definition. Let's change the breakpoint to either line 9 or 10. I have an extra space here between the function and the incrementer, so I'll select line 10 on my system and add a breakpoint there. And let's click the button to run the code and stop at this point. Now this time we didn't see the initialization of the CNT variable because we're stopping at the incremental line and not the variable declaration line. So what you can do is either expand the window element here in the watch to find the value of CNT, or we can click in the new watch expression pane, type CNT and press enter, and that in a sense pins the value to the top of the watch window. And then as we proceed through the code, we can easily watch the value of that variable change through the lifetime of our page.